Welcome everybody, welcome back to the Tomb of Illumination, and welcome to those who have never seen my videos before and this is your first visit. You're going to be enlightened. This is world first information, never been revealed before, not even by these characters up here. Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, Tycho Brahe, or Braun they say, Kepler. None of these guys knew what they were doing. They just had great imaginations. They were intelligent. But no, the truth comes from a state of higher consciousness, which involves philosophy. And this is when you go right back to the ancients. Aristotle, Plato, they knew the system. They can't understand Aristotle for a starter. Plato seems to be their go-to book, yet they don't understand it. Plato mentions in his Symposium, is it? I think it is, or somewhere, could be the Timaeus, the unequal divided line. Now, if anybody understood this stuff, which they don't, they would know that it's all connected to the golden ratio, or phi, 1.618, or the 3:2 ratio that I talk about all the time with our dual earthly system. So we're going to go over it. I'm just going to show you how these guys knew nothing. Okay? For starters, all observations of the universe are based on man's arc of horizon. That's his hemisphere, his dome of perspective. All perpendicular off that arc back to him. So you can imagine a 180 degree arc of horizon, all the stars plastered on it, all projected back to him as the 90 degrees zenith of the arc. That's what he observes. Every man has a different slice of the pie, you could say, over a whole earthly system. So it's all relative to his position. This is why we have things like stellarium. They want to know your exact position, or why we have zenith cameras. Okay? So don't think you can see the whole thing from different parts of the earth the same, because you can't. Now, let's start with let's go down to Kepler and his ellipses. Why they don't know what they're talking about? Because they never, not one of these guys knew that the sun moves around the horizon of the black hole. And most people out there, I say 90% of the world, don't even know that Polaris does a small circle. Because Polaris is actually an upward image of the sun. The sun's illuminated, it's a long story, into our realm from a certain direction. But science tells you the sun is a star. So if it's projected up, you see the star Polaris doing a small circle. But down here where the sun is, the actual sun of the earth, that's the one in the centre Arctic we do not see because it's pure plasma. Remember that the night images are only are for signs. It's the only time we get to see the creation plastered at night in the sky above. But down, it's not in this image, but if you look down the centre Arctic, let's say the centre Arctic, that's the centre of the Arctic. If you try and image it, looking down into a vortex, right down there, or actually sitting on top of the plane of the vortex, centre is the sun doing small circles, projecting its illumination out into our realms, off to the side, say, because the sun is illuminated by the black hole centre, because it's all based on frequencies or resonance or whatever. That's why it's illuminated. Our whole realm is via colour, which is from frequencies. Okay, so understanding the vortex of creation. So imagine it's water. At the top of the vortex, you've got the 2D plane. Once it starts spinning, the suction is created to create the vortex. The vortex becomes the 3D. projected out into our realm, which creates our realm. Okay? I'm wandering off my video. We're trying to get back to what these guys imagined, okay? So the ellipses, they create this ellipse because none of them knew that the sun moved around the black hole. So if the sun was moving, the more it moved away from, say, a planet, the more they imagine this elliptical course that the planet was taking in relation to the sun. I mean, they knew the sun was off centre, but they didn't know that the sun moved around that centre. Okay? You've got to understand this, because all their theory is all BS. You've all been misled. They've made up equations to suit their theories, or even vice versa. But none of them calculate on the sun moving to create this ellipse. And this is Kepler, I think. They discovered, same time over distance here, same time over distance here, the same distance, let's say 3 weeks apart. Well, it's basically just equating, giving credence to the circular cycle. All equal. All the circles are equal. Planets on concentric circles. Another word for this, isn't there? Circles within circles. Planets. They're all on beautiful circles. And they all turn in the same direction. Sun, moon, everything. That's why we have the... I've got it there somewhere. The wandering star. The 7 wandering stars. Forget the make-believe... all these other planets they talk about, like Uranus and whatever. It doesn't concern us. It's the five planets and the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon, they all wander. There's only one planet, and that's Earth. So you've got to understand that the geocentric and the what's the other one? Heliocentric. There's a bit of each, because all the planets go around the sun. We'll put the sun in here. Well, they don't go around the sun. No, correction. They all go around the centre, the black hole centre, including the sun. They all turn. So you can say the sun's still at the centre. It's just off centre. And they all do the circle, but it's all basically passing over us as it turns. So you've got to imagine creation is horizontal, but we see everything vertically, so it comes over us. We all exist perpendicular to creation. So everything that's going around here is basically going over us and then out of our horizon. So you could say everything's coming from the east. Once it comes into our view, it just goes over us and then out of view again. So there's nothing more than this. It just appears in your horizon, leaves your horizon. So basically it's just done a half cycle, because you've got the daylight cycle up there, haven't you? And bear in mind that night time is the backdrop. You imagine it's all black. So that the sun moves across the backdrop of night. So when the sun moves across the backdrop of night during your day, and it's quicker than the stars, what's going to happen? More stars are going to fill that void the next night to show up earlier. You've all been led to believe that the stars are quicker than the sun. No, the sun is quicker, therefore the extra stars are popping up into that void. It's a no-brainer, but it's just too much for people to comprehend for some reason. I think it's because of a lifetime of false indoctrination. So here's another image of, say, a planet being way out there instead of, you know, it'll be here at some stage, only because the sun has come around to here. So they're close together. Closer together, closer. That's why they're creating this ellipse. And they're trying to say that it moves quicker when it's close. Or it appear to move quicker because they're so close together, aren't they? Just so if it's there and the planet's there, they're going to seem quick. As opposed to out here, it's a no-brainer. So it seems like I'm the only person in the world who's discovered this or realises this, because I'm with these guys here. I understood all this. What they know. These guys weren't philosophers. These are just wannabe scientists, and they make their name by discovering a illuminated star. They're trying to fool the world into thinking they found a new star because it what's the word they use? Exploded. Supersonic. What do they call it? What's the word? No, our entire realm is a moment in time. It does not change. Okay, it just moves in a cycle. Life and death, just like we do. We reincarnate, life and death, until you wake up and become one of these people. One who knows through a higher consciousness. Let's come over here. Let's go back a bit to a barycenter. What is a barycenter? Barycenter, LOL, it's nothing but a joke. Two or more objects orbiting each other. Ha 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 ha. You cannot have one celestial body orbiting another, because everything we see is 2D. It does not work that way. And it's all moving around this black hole center. How can one of the objects out further out in the track, concentric tracks, how can this orbit something out here, or this orbit something on an inside track? Have you ever seen a horse running around the racetrack orbiting another horse to get to the finish line? No, don't be flipping stupid. But these guys are. People who believe them are. Image here, we're viewing. This is the viewport. We look through this way, and this, so you see the black hole, the center. They're not realising, they see the planet in front, see? Otherwise they'll see it in behind. But you have to stop and think, how do they know all this stuff? I mean, these guys here, how can they see reality when they don't see the whole picture at once? They're not seeing the sun. They can't see the sun at night. What are they looking at? So you come down to here, Jupiter. When you refer to the barycenter, they talk about Jupiter is orbiting. This is an example of they give for a barycenter. Jupiter is orbiting this barycenter between the Jupiter and the Sun. So you'd have to draw the Sun over here at this stage. It's orbiting this. They don't understand that it's the center of creation, the center of the whole universe, the black hole center. Yes, Jupiter is orbiting this black hole center, like everything does. The concentric circles here. But you've got to realise the sun is moving too, because the sun is a star. Well, it's not because, but the sun is a star. As they say in science, it's a star. It's illuminated because it's on the horizon of the black hole. There's all the friction. All that friction illuminates the star. It's caught in the friction line. That's all the action is. That's why our whole realm is based on friction, male and female. To go forth and multiply, there's got to be some friction. Don't get too technical and start going into insemination, all that sort of thing. Do you understand that? The black hole center, why they draw it like this, because they think it's, and it's coming around. Oh, it's getting close. Look, as it gets closer, it must be spinning faster past the sun quicker. No, it's all rubbish. They say the planets speed up as it goes closer to the sun. They don't realise the sun catches up. Nothing passes the sun. How can this thing pass the sun if it's on the inside track? It's in the inside track. It's the quickest. Nothing goes around the sun. Seeing the sun moving quicker towards the planet, they claim the planet is now moving faster towards the sun. They're all going this way, right? Here's the planet. Here comes the sun. The sun's catching up because it's quicker. So because they've got this visual thing going on now, they think, because they think that's stationary, this planet's moving this way. Okay? But once the planet's passed, way over here somewhere, then they start realising, oh, they're both going that way now. You see what I mean? No, everything's moving in the one direction. There is only one centre of the universe, there's only one vortex, and everything turns with it. So you've got to consider let's draw a vortex. There's your centre vortex, you've got the S curve. There's only one S curve in a vortex. Everything's spinning down the core. Everything's spinning frantically down the core, but there's only one S curve overall, no matter how high you make that vortex. And then we have the 2D plane up here. That's where it's the centre of the black hole. The Milky Way goes over that as well. This is the Milky Way you see at night. This is what you see at night. The other end of the Milky Way. The bulge is in here. Sagittarius A. All the planets are out here on these concentric circles. This is classed as the male. This is the female. Male thingamajig coming into the female. Okay? All the friction, you say. The other thing is you've got to imagine all this just collapsing back to a 2D plane. Or stretch it out to all 3D where we see it all in our night sky. Okay? So here we have old, let's say Tycho Brahe, or Braun, looking through his hole. He can have a couple of, circles like this, all fixed, so you can observe the position of the planet every night. But you can't follow the time because the sun keeps time. And if you follow time, then the planet's going to be 3 minutes 56 back in time, isn't it? Back in time. So if he allows for that 3 minutes 56, this planet will be in the exact same place every night until the sun finally catches up to it, and you won't see it at night. It'll be in the daylight side. Okay? Anybody can do this. Create your little pinholes. Find a planet at a certain time or a star. Create your pinholes. Line all up. These are solid, fixed, never to move. Fixed and stationary like the Earth. Watch the star turn up every night. If you come back, what is it? Earlier by nearly 3 minutes 56 per night to see it. So both sun and planets move. The 7 wandering stars are the 5 so-called planets, so-called because they're not planets, there's only one planet, that's Earth. They're all orbs up here. Moon and sun, forget the other 2 BS planets. They do not concern us or the story of creation. So Jupiter is going around something they cannot see because they do not see the sun at night, do they? No, they just assume it's going around some central point. They've got no idea it's the central black hole that the sun is going around. Same black hole, dead center as Polaris goes around. They cannot see the world, the whole model. It is a metaphysical finding, metaphysical concept. It is due to the higher consciousness, philosophy, which these guys are involved in. They knew. These guys did not. They're just wannabes. This, you can consider this the Lindsay Harris model of the universe because no one else has brought it up in the last 2,000 years. No one knew this. They all knew it. Yet these morons up here thought these guys were a joke. Ptolemy knows it. I haven't even read his gear yet. I've just read a couple of pages on Wikipedia. So the only way they can know anything is by observing the location of the stars each night in relation to time. And it is the sun that keeps time. If they didn't know the sun moves and moves the fastest, then all their theory is total bullshit. And it is. You've all been fooled. It's not reality what they've taught you. This is not reality. Reality is the center, concentric circles, and everything moves around them. Ptolemy's, now he's got the sun. Well, this is image they're showing us, whether it was really him or not, because I haven't got too involved. He's a model of these concentric circles. He's got this planet out here, the Earth out here, third from the sun. That would have to be a separate video to explain why. I think I might have done one. What's going on there? Yeah, I haven't got that on the top of my mind, okay? But you just got to understand what I've got here as fact, okay? It's the truth. It's the way it all works. So go check out my Lindsay Harris's model of the universe, my earlier video, and understand all this. Why all these guys are wrong. I've done a video on this guy. This is all on my Patreon, you guys. This is going to YouTube, but if you really want to, maybe a lot of the videos I'm talking about, you haven't got them on YouTube. They're back on my Patreon. You've got to go to the Saints on my Patreon. It costs you $20 a month. But if you want to know the truth, instead of following all this bullshit they've taught you at school, false indoctrination. The globe, they started making the globes in the 14th century, didn't they? And basically from there they started indoctrinating your children, controlling their minds. And now they've got full control of the minds of everybody. All think they're all living on the outside of a spinning ball flying through La La Land. So Newton, he was just bananas. Galileo, I read his Galileo's Daughters, the book, so he was a nice guy. They're obviously all intelligent, but they just didn't have the philosophy involved with the metaphysical concept to understand how everything worked. Like knowing the sun is offset from the center. Knowing that, there's the sun, and all this model is projected up into the northern sky. And there's your center. And Polaris is going around that center because it's the sun. Sun goes around up there. Well, it's not illuminate. The sun isn't shining up that way to illuminate the sky at night, is it? No. It's only down here during the day. And day and night is presented to the curve of the Milky Way, and it goes like this. It's like a boomerang, just as the Dreamtime stories of the Aborigines describe it. and the kneecap in the Homer's Iliad. There's other representations. You see this curve in the night sky. And then it breaks down again into a dual system, the two hemispheres. But that's all on my Patreon. So if you really want to know the truth, understand reality, you've got to go to the Patreon. My Patreon. Saints. This guy, I've done a lot of reading this morning, so I've lost focus on all these characters and what they did, but I've done videos on this sort of stuff, their work. What did he came up with, oh yeah, the funny thing is, look, yeah, what set him on his path, astronomical life's path, is this full solar eclipse on the 21st of August. Well, guess what got me set on my path? What did we have in 2017? There you go. Okay? So maybe he was awake to a few things, but he might have been onto it. He might have been onto it. But these guys here, no. There's no way. I mean, he got... Yeah, the church knew the truth. It's all in the Bible. It's all religious texts. It's all been left for us prior to these guys. It's all philosophy. All behind the word religion. The whole existence is based on religion, yet the average Joe Blow doesn't know that. They think, oh, religion, oh, yeah, what's that crap? No, they all knew, and that's why the Bible is fact. And the Bible is a book of physics, and it describes it all. You just got to understand it, and you don't. But I break that down on my Patreon page as well. A lot of passages in the Bible. Like I've just broken down the whole sun analemma times. Just to show you that Christ represents the sun. But at the same time, it's a parallel story with the Christ, the Son of Man. The spiritual story. And man is of the earth, so that it's the same story. It's a parallel story. So, you go way back, and you've got to think about it. How would they know anything, these guys know anything, if you can't see the whole model? They can't see day and night. If everything concerns the sun, well, you're not seeing the sun at night, are you? It all comes back to the stars' positions and time. Relating it to the sun, the time of the sun, how far apart things were. But if they didn't know the sun was moving and the sun was moving quicker, then all their theories are BS. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Just the concept of understanding that the stars turn up earlier than the sun is only because the sun is ripped ahead, shot ahead, and what's going to fill the void? The backdrop of night's going to have to show 4 minutes extra of stars. So everyone thinks, oh, the stars are quicker than the sun because they turn up. No. I hope that made sense to some people out there. I'm sure I would have got one or two out there. But be sure to go to my Patreon if you like this sort of thing. Don't forget to subscribe. Because since I've been on a few sites, the patronage and all that's all just frozen on my site. It doesn't go anywhere. They hide it all. And recently discovered that other people out there with their sites, just recently someone emailed me apparently, and I never even got the email. And someone sent me an image of the email, but I never received it. And they're restricting, they play around with the likes and subscription on my site. They've got control of all this modern tech I'm using. And if I've got some divine information that's, world first, most of my stuff, it just takes forever to download. It takes all day to download one video. If it's a pretty basic video, download it within an hour. What's going on there? Okay, thanks for watching.